over the past few years, Bill has become one of my favorite people in the Sudoku community. For his puzzles, of course, they're elegant, creative. He's always trying new things, new setups, new variants. But also his personality. He's just fantastic to work with. Great sense of humor, very supportive and kind. And that's Bill.
When we were looking for a new setter to join the Gas team a couple of years ago, Bill Murphy was at the top of both my list and Philip's list. Because in my experience, a lot of very talented puzzle setters will shy away from simplicity. But I've always admired about Bill's work that he's not afraid to work with very simple ideas. He just has this way of taking an extremely simple idea and creating the most elegant possible presentation of it.
Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, Bill. How are you doing?
Hello. Well, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
I'm rugged up because it is a Melbourne winter and it is cold. But yeah. Other than that, it's really good down here. So yes,
Yeah.
very excited to yeah.
Before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone who's on the screen right now, these Patreon supporters, and a quick shout out to all the people on screen right now, everyone who's ever supported me. Thank you to all of those people, and this is who is supporting me right at this very moment. Thank you guys for your support. Always very lovely community members who are supporting us doing these things. All right, let's get into it. You already answered one of my questions. Where do you live? Melbourne. There we go, out of the way.
Yes.
Are you more of an outsider or an inside person?
I grew up in the country, so my parents lived on 12 acres, so we had horses and stuff. And that being said, inside person.
That's a funny way to set that up. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of puzzling, horseback riding? You know.
I liked horseback riding, but for me, my hobbies are board games, puzzles, trading card games. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering outside of puzzles. I go to a lot of punk shows, and I have been on multiple game shows, which has been a wonderful little community watch along every time I'm on a new one.
Yeah, I'm now remembering that you are. I did not even prepare with this research. Which game shows have you been on? I know you've been on some now that you mention it, but which ones have you been on?
Okay, so the form I don't know if all the formats have made it outside of Australia, but Mastermind is definitely very universal. I did BoJack Horseman as my specialist subject, and I won that episode, which was very delightful. My nearest competition was the Jonas Brothers. I did the 1% Club. That episode is still yet to air, but you'll be shocked to know, as someone who enjoys puzzles and riddles and that sort of thing, we had I had an absolute blast solving some puzzles. I cannot yet talk about how that one aired, because that one hasn't actually aired in Australia yet. And then there's two formats which I think are actually Australian only. There's Rock Quiz, which is like a musical trivia show. And they get musicians to come on and play songs, and then come and answer questions. And Hard Quiz, which is similar to Mastermind, but the host is very I don't know how to describe it other than very Australian. He's often confrontational and will ask questions in a way which is very funny and very abrupt. I managed to answer a question so badly on that show, they clipped it and used it for promo, which was incredible.
I,
So yeah, that's
some very creative quiz show names. Hard. Did you say hard quiz? Was that?
it is called Hard Quiz.
That's very creative. This is a big question
So
for
yeah,
you. I mean, how do you balance puzzling with the other things in life?
that's So I I think it's a part of what I do. So for a living, I teach. I'm a teacher. We I run. I still get really bad at explaining what I do for a living. I used to teach traditionally in like classrooms. Now what I do is I run experiences where schools can come in and get access to technology and resources that their schools would not necessarily be able to afford.
Mhm.
It's a free subsidized government initiative, which is incredible. It's a wonderful opportunity. And as far as I can tell, doesn't exist outside of Victoria. Um, but uh, when your job is to think about how people consume knowledge and learn for a living, it becomes really, really interesting to uh, think about how you do puzzles at the same time and making
Mhm.
sure that you're actively engaging with, how people consume content, how people learn. Um, and I think, yeah, I kind of just live and breathe thinking about learning and understanding, which is a really, really cool place to be. Uh, since I've started working with Thomas Snyder from GM Puzzles, I've posted about my puzzles for the first time on LinkedIn, and now all my colleagues know me as a puzzle guy, which
Mhm.
I think it's fine. I'm getting used to it. Um, but how I kind of like work the puzzling in is I have a very wonderful and supportive partner, and on like our fifth date, I had to post gas, and I had to explain what gas was, explain party hats and dinosaurs, and she was like, "Okay, what are the party hats for?" I'm like, "I don't know anymore." Um, but I just take it and find places to fit it in around everything else that I enjoy, which is how I make it work, I think. You know?
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer. Do you have any pets? Do you like animals?
I love animals. I have a very beloved greyhound called Betty. She will commonly be in uh when I'm in the office, she has a couch and she will sit and just watch me record puzzles and solves.
Mhm.
Uh, quite, uh, I've grown. Uh, I've grown up with greyhounds and whippets my whole life. But I swear I'm not one of those people that are very obsessive and protective about their greyhounds. Uh, I'm not a greyhound person, but I have greyhounds.
Okay.
I they're odd. They're very odd. I don't know what to say about people like that, but like you know, uh like I said earlier, my mum's got horses. We I will always find an excuse to find the animal at a party and to pet a cat. Uh yeah, love animals.
Another great answer. If you were to be interviewed on a different topic, what topic would you choose?
I uh I really I really like being really like talking about learning in video games. I think there is a bunch of video games that do teaching and allow for learning in an incredible way.
Mhm.
My personal favorites are Celeste and well, Celeste and I joked about it in last night's gas intro. I think Hitman 3's Berghain level is the pinnacle of teaching and education. Uh, that I could genuinely go on about it. I think I I did do that earlier this week. We were talking about blueprints at work,
Mhm.
and I had I had a bunch of grown people in their 50s look at me and go, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Uh,
Yeah, I think that people will be even more opposed to that conversation than the normal sort of non-traditional approaches.
yes, yes.
Yeah, but I'm there with you. I taught coding to grade 3 students using the game Baba as You.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. Like the way that I like to think about again, Babu's you is we all have something called what they call the zone of proximal development, which is what you know, and then it scaffolds your learning in such a way that each level increases a little bit more on whatever it was that you were previously doing,
Mhm.
which is just a and then by the end you are doing full-blown coding and problem solving. It is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, great game. Uh,
uh
this is definitely a question for you, Bill.
no,
What, or do you want to keep going
yeah,
on?
yeah. No,
Uh,
no. You the question was what could you go on forever about?
yeah,
And I'm like, I
exactly.
absolutely could go on about it.
Another thing that you could probably go on forever about, what's something you're passionate about that really just doesn't matter at all? Like it could be very trivial.
Oh, oh. Okay. Um, so I have a chemistry degree, and one of the one of the things I am very passionate about is using that chemistry degree to cook potatoes really well. Um, I I recently bought a ceramic bottomed cast iron pot, and in that cast iron pot, um, I've started frying things, and
Mhm.
I've perfected um, I've perfected how to fry potatoes and create chips in a way where I am so proud of this. Uh, I could eat them cold out of the fridge 4 to 5 hours later, and they are still good.
Hmm.
Uh, Now, all you need to do, all you need to do, parboil them in vinegar, freeze them, cook them at a low temperature first, and then heat the oil up to a high temperature, and then cook till golden brown. If you want specifics, I'll put them in the chat later.
All right, looking forward to that. That sounds like a very tasty project for later this week. What
They
is
get so crispy, it's good.
what's your favorite movie, TV show, music, whatever you wanna, whatever you calls to you?
Well, okay. Um, favorite, uh, okay, favorite TV show. I think right now it's probably Taskmaster. Uh, Taskmaster is a beautiful show. For those watching this who haven't seen Taskmaster, uh, the Taskmaster played by Greg Davis and his sidekick little Alex Horn will set comedians a bunch of little uh, either lateral thinking tasks, art tasks, physical dexterity, and they'll get points based off how well they do. It's it straddles the line between like being a really fun, engaging show. You feel clever when you spot things that the people doing the tasks haven't, but you're also cheering them on when they have disasters, and it's a great hangout show. Favorite movie? I still think about Parasite from Bong Joon-ho a lot. A few years back, I think it's absolutely incredible movie. Being again a teacher in the outer east of Victoria, I have a lot of students who come from English as second language backgrounds, refugees. So the more I've taught and the more I've actively worked to improve my local area, the more class consciousness I've acquired. And Parasite just absolutely hit me down the middle. And when I'm creating gas, quite often, if I don't know what to title a puzzle, I'm picking songs of whatever it is I'm listening to. So this week, I'm listening to a lot of Big Thief, The Armed, and Titus Andronicus.
Okay, those were great answers. In the spirit of Taskmaster, I actually took this question from Taskmaster interview. Do you own more small things than big things, or vice versa?
It's got to be small things. Yes, it's got to be small things. I think in the cupboard behind me there's about 15,000 magic cards. That's
a lot of small things.
That's a lot of small things. I bought my house a couple years back, and it is crazy how often you run out of space. Pardon me. Yeah, it's got to be a lot of small things.
Yeah, it's a very Alex Horn question.
I love his interviews. I think it's the Chris Ramsey one where they're walking around the field and counting steps at the same time is a incredible way to get people off guard.
Yeah.
What's your like? What do you think makes a good interview question?
That's a hard question. I think something that gets the person to think about something that they weren't thinking about before, like that takes them into a new direction with what they're talking about, so that you can continue going in new directions.
Yeah. Hot Ones does do it very well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into the puzzle questions. So first question I usually ask is, what's the first puzzle that you ever set?
Oh, the first puzzle I ever set was a toroidal anti-knight Sudoku, which I think is a crazy place to start now that I think about it. I think aiming small would have been a lot better. But yes, I aimed very big and did a toroidal anti-knight Sudoku. And I think that I've learnt a lot since then. I would not do toroidal or anti-knight again. Hello, Philip. Sorry, Philip Newman's just entered the tower.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes?
How did you go about setting that, and were you like surprised at how easy or hard it was to set? And are you happy that you're not setting toroidal anti-knight Sudokus anymore?
One of the things that I've had to think about a lot is how you actually use the computer solvers. It's one thing to set things by hand. It's incredible. I've done that. It's a different thing to be using the computer solvers, and it's a different thing to be using the computer solvers. I think a lot of the times when we're creating puzzles, we tend to be uh, placing digits or constraints in to how do I describe that? To just see what happens, and less about how we think about it. Um, with the toroidal anti-knight, that was kind of me exploring to see what I could do with Sudoku and to explore how I could use these computer solvers. And playing around with the regions puzzles, the region settings in F puzzles, really, I found that really interesting and went, oh, I can have this wrap around the grid. That's the part of it that that's the part of this puzzle that interested me. I think quite a while back we were all very excited by anti-knight puzzles, and then we got really we found that they were both very hard to make good and very hard to solve if they weren't very well constructed. I am on the record as an anti-knight hater these days, but a good anti-knight puzzle is still really, really good to solve and very, very satisfying.
Yeah, I would say it's difficult for me now to start an anti-knight puzzle because I'm like, well, what's different between this one and the like 100 other anti-knight puzzles I've solved? Like, is there going to be any difference?
The problem is that I tend to find is it is such a powerful constraint that people want to use it to have a puzzle look simple, or have it look sleek and sophisticated. But if you're sacrificing functionality for form, is it a good puzzle? I don't want to claim to be the person that's like, hey, I am the authority on good puzzles. That's up to whoever's making it and whoever's solving it, whether you enjoy it. But I think you need to really think about the audience for which you're making a puzzle. If you want to make a sleek looking minimal one that can be a little bit of a grind, that's fine. Go do that, but just be aware of who you are setting for. If you want to make something that's fun and engaging and kind of simple, go and do that. But keep the vision in mind when you're doing it. That would probably be my advice.
So when did you first get into puzzles?
I, like a lot of people, came to the Discord via the Cracking the Cryptics Miracle Sudoku video. And kind of I think there's a moment where you start to try and level up, and you go, hey, I watched like the first 5 minutes of the video, 5 minutes of the solve to go, oh, you can just color these, and then you can use the color to draw conclusions. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then after a couple weeks, I really started to jump into talking to the Discord, and okay, I think I was too scared at the start to actually like jump into conversations and volunteer in opinions, because I'm like, I don't know these people. I'm a very anxious man. It is crazy how anxious I am, but I was so scared of trying to like jump in and make stuff that it took a while before I started feeling comfortable. But it was very lovely to get welcomed by a lot of people. I started making a couple puzzles. I really appreciated the Cracking the Cryptic Discord's monthly puzzle prompts in the server, because it gave me something to think about and go, hey, how can I, make something that fits into this? I can actually see, I think probably the second puzzle I ever made in the overlay, which is the modern art one. It's kind of just a bit below my face and to the left. Um, and yeah, from there I kind of really got into it. And after I after that, the pandemic hit, and then I had the ability to just keep making a lot of puzzles in, and being like, hey, here's a hobby that's going to keep me distracted. Victoria had, I believe, the strongest lockdowns during the COVID pandemic in the world. So I had to spend a lot of time inside. So I started making a lot more puzzles and started thinking a lot more about how I do it.
Right, it's the Andy Warhol one. That was your second puzzle.
Yeah, yes, the Andy Warhol one.
Oh, okay. So that's also your first CTC feature. That's very interesting.
That is my first CTC feature. Yes. I I I was teaching that day and tried to explain to a bunch of 17-year-olds why I was very excited and very delighted by that puzzle. And I was like, "Ooh, it got featured on YouTube. Someone was solving something I made." I think that was extremely cute. They were all none of them understood, but they were all very, very happy for me.
Yeah, I think when I got my first feature, I mentioned it to my parents and they had no idea what I was talking about, but they were like, "Good job." I don't know.
My parents, still incredibly supportive. I did actually once send a classic Sudoku to my father for testing because he was having trouble sleeping that night. It took him 70 minutes, but he was so proud of himself for finishing it, and he was like, "This was great. I love this." And I was like, "That means more to me than anything."
Validation. Well, that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I don't think my parents have solved this Sudoku in their lives.
There's never a better time to start.
Yeah, true. That's true. Maybe I should send some. How does it? How did it? I guess you kind of talked through how it felt to get that CGC feature with the sort of validation and just the joy from and showing that to your students and stuff. Uh, did it kind of feel like it's the second puzzle you made that's pretty early on? Did you feel like you were like on the right track or something, like doing things right?
I oh, I don't know how many puzzles I had to set before I started feeling confident in my ability to make puzzles. Uh it is I think that's inherently the beautiful thing about what we're doing as a community, that it is very hard to go, that's it, I've perfected this. Uh yes, it was wonderful to receive that validation. Um I look at it compared to some of the later cracking the cryptic puzzles, or the later cracking the cryptic videos that had featured me, and go, that was an important step on a journey,
Mhm.
but I definitely got a lot better a lot quicker than I was thinking, you know? Um, I I think I did uh a quadruples puzzle where I didn't put any digits into the quadruples, and I I don't remember it. Don't worry about pulling it up. And there was also a puzzle I did uh that was inspired by Untitled Goose Game, and I think that those were the ones where I immediately was like, "Oh, I might actually be good at this." I think the whole thing is it does have to be a process, and you have to be like, well, I'm still learning and still kind of growing as a person, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, that's it. You did find it.
I
You
did
did do
find it,
your
yeah.
research.
And I have the other one too. Well, this one has no title on it, but the other one looks like it has no title
I
on it
think
because it's
for
called Untitled. The Untitled Goose
yes,
Sudoku.
that one was in I'm extremely proud of that one. I think that was one of the first real times where I had a very clear, direct solving path in mind.
Mhm.
Um, and and I was like, this is how this puzzle has to work. Uh, and I think that was like the first time where I was really truly confident, I believe, of what I was doing and how, I can create a really good, coherent puzzle based experience.
Let's talk about creating that experience. Like, is it setting up the stage for the experience or like curating that exact experience, like step by step? What do you think?
Um, so I I choose different ways. So I kind of want to like come back a little bit to like I kind of want to come back a little bit to what I do for a living, which is
Mhm.
just when I teach, the programs that we run are w- tend to go in one of two directions. One of them is this has to be a very straight deliverable. Uh, I need to teach this student this thing in this amount of time, whether it's gel electrophoresis or gene editing in the space of 3 hours. I need this person to do this specific thing. How do I help step them along the path in that way? The other one is uh, in an incredible way that I still love is one of the things that I can do and one of the programs I can run for students these days is I get the students in, I show them how to use a microscope that has a camera attached, and then they take a lot of photos. Um and then after morning tea, I teach them Photoshop and they create art,
Mhm.
and then after lunch they heat press it onto a pencil case or a mouse pad to take home. I In that space, students are allowed to explore and to find what works for them and to make it work in a way that is allows them to get something out of it, but to make it a personal, unique experience. The way for me when I'm doing Sudoku these days is it tends to kind of travel down either of those paths. Either I want the person solving my puzzle to either go, oh, I need to do A to B to C to D
Mhm.
to get there, or I want them to look at a puzzle and go, oh, I'm spotting things left, right, and center. And it doesn't matter which order they go in, but I'm going to get to the end of the puzzle and it's going to be great.
That's a great way of describing all of those things. Um, this kind of relates to Pietato's question: how do you make your puzzles so extremely smooth and pleasant?
Uh, there's there's a quote from uh there's a quote from Quentin Smith, who used to be of the YouTube channel Shut Up and Sit Down, where they talk about board games and they do board game reviews. And he was talking about uh, the the board game Go,
Mhm.
and what he said was the best way to become good at Go is to lose your first 100 games very quickly. Uh, I I am not afraid to get. I'm not afraid these days to give away a lot of digits at the start and how to make it so efficient and smooth. Um, I'm happy to give information, especially when I'm going for gas. Edge trying to achieve for gas. I've been talking hang on, let me back that one up. I made a lot of puzzles that have been really clunky and they've been, they've been clunky, or they haven't they haven't done what I've actually hoped they would do.
Mhm.
And they go on the scrap heap. The beautiful thing about practicing and just making a lot of puzzles is I have hit the point where I can go, this puzzle is not necessarily the one that I want to be putting forward, and I can tell when an idea isn't necessarily going to bear the fruit that I'm looking for.
Mhm.
So like if I go, while I was waiting for this interview, I have 45 minutes. I'm gonna make a puzzle for gas for the 10th of August, because of our August thing. I know exactly what puzzle I need to make and what clue I'm trying to give. And I had an idea because I'm like, I haven't done X with Y variant before. I don't want to give away what the variant is but um, I had a really good vision in my brain of, this is what I'm going to do. How do I make it great? And being able to set it up very quickly allowed me to go, hey, I need to change the digits. I need to change the orientation. I need to flip some cages around. No, it's not a killer. But I've made so many puzzles at this point that I know when an idea isn't going to work, necessarily pan out, or I know that I can change something and make it fix it, which I am. Yeah, unfortunately, the answer is practice. There is actually. Oh, actually, no. Hang on. I'm going to come back to it. There is one tool that I tend to use. Sorry, this thought has just popped into my head. If you, it doesn't matter what setting software that you're using. One of the techniques that I use for setting these days, if I go, hey, I want a pair to appear in this box, you can just write center marks in Sudoku Maker. You can just write your center marks in, and it will solve as though that's what you're wanting to do. In F puzzles, you have to check a box that says treat pencil marks as given.
Mhm.
And leaving notes for myself by highlighting cells when I'm setting, going, you are going to put this digit as a given because it's going to maintain your solve path as you've designed it, and then letting the solver run, and then if it puts a digit in that cell, I'm like, cool, that's the digit that's going in that cell, rather than having to double back over myself and go, that didn't work out, why didn't it work out, and going, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to try more things.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
practice, but there are tools inside computer solvers that you can use to help design nicer paths.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I just
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Uh, oh. Sorry. Hello to Thomas. Yes, I am a chemist by trade. Also minored in mathematics. I've had to learn a lot of biology as well. And I did take mine into the kitchen because food science was what I found interesting. This is what happens when you grow up watching a lot of Iron Chef as a small child. Um, I I cannot wait to read that book though. Anyway, please carry on.
Well, actually, I'm going to take it a different direction now. You said you've been working with GM
Oh, go for it.
puzzles a lot. What have you been doing with them?
So we are currently working with GM puzzles. I'm actually secondhand to this. We are currently working with GM puzzles because Thomas Snyder former world champion, and I'm gonna call him it, even if I don't know if he particularly enjoys the title. Dr. Sudoku, Thomas Snyder, operator of the blog GM Puzzles. Please go and click on it. It's great. He is on an absolute tear of puzzles at the moment, and would absolutely recommend them. But he met up with Clover and Philip at SudokuCon, and when they were at SudokuCon, they nice. When they were at SudokuCon, they started to chat, and Thomas did a bunch of gas, really got into them, and he has been chatting. And they got chatting, and he was like, "We could host gas," and that's kind of how it started, and just a lot of emails back and forth, just hammering out what it looks like. Thomas has actually asked, what do you think the best gas that you've ever set is? And I've genuinely had to go and think about that question.
Do you have an answer?
I did. Unbelievably, I did, but I'm not using the laptop that I left it open on. Give me 2 seconds, and I will find it. Okay. Okay. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of gas in particular that I am very proud of. But it. I tend to be. I'm actually proud of some of the classic Sudoku that I've managed to come up with, because I really found it very difficult to make gas classics in a way that, oh no, I found it. I did find it. Three's a crowd Sudoku.
Three's a crowd Sudoku. I don't know if I have that one up, but
I will send it to you in the chat if you want to pull it up.
I don't have it up.
There you go. So for those of you who haven't seen it, Three's a Crowd Sudoku is similar to Outside Sudoku, where we have givens outside of the grid, and it's givens that must appear in the first 3 cells. But
I solved this. I remember solving this.
Yes. Of those givens, 2 of them must appear in the first 3 cells, and 1 of them is a wire. And the thing about that is, if you had asked me when I started doing gas 3 years ago, if I thought that that was a rule set that was gassable, I would have said no way. And these days, I think that that one is not only gassable, I think that puzzle in particular is one I'm incredibly proud of, because it is such a smooth solve path. It's crazy. That one I will. There's a very Australian culture of not really talking yourself up a lot. They call it tall poppy syndrome. And I am incredibly proud of that puzzle, and will say a lot of really nice things about it in a row.
Absolutely, yeah. Is it partially because it seems like it would be so difficult to create a gassable version?
Yes. It is. I spent a lot of time playing around with just like your standard computer solver variants a while back, when I was starting, and just figuring out, hey, what can I make work? What, like, playing around. And then we found, well, when I started making gas, Clover sent me repico.ch, which has a giant archive of all the different puzzles puzzle types that have appeared in GPs and the World Cup as well. And I I I was a little bit terrified and intimidated to take on some of these puzzles at the start, and then at the point I got more confident. I think uh, I think was it. This is the problem with trying to pick a bunch of puzzles to have ready for you for an interview. I've made like 500 puzzles at this point. I cannot remember which ones are going to pop into my brain. So I think it was the point at which I did a Greek carpet Sudoku where I was like, oh, I can actually make this work for even the weird ones. I've done football Sudoku. I've done emitter Sudoku twice. I've done extra space Sudoku 3 times now. The third one will come out after August is done. I'm not afraid to do everything. It's really hard to like. Some constraints I think are almost impossible to guess, and that's okay. But I will crack them eventually. I thought faded crop key was impossible to guess for over a year, and then it came to me in about 20 minutes. But I never stopped thinking about, can I make that one work? I know Clover did it, but that's because Clover's incredible at making puzzles. I had to do a lot to try and make it work, but I'm just thinking about blueprints again. I really liked my experience with blueprints. I like the fact that when a puzzle is not solvable at that point at the game, it's not actively punishing you for it. You're allowed to just leave it there and think about it.
Right.
You know? And yeah, these days I'll tackle anything. Just let me know.
So do you have like any tricks to cracking these difficult genres, or is it new for every single one? Or the same kind of thing that you said about setting approachable puzzles?
So for me, I think there's a couple of things that I tend to think about. It's one, solve some. If you solve them, you actually understand what the implications of your puzzle are. Two, for gas in particular, but I would honestly recommend it to most solvers. Try and figure out what idea you're going to communicate when you start. If you're designing something where you're like, hey, I want this person to understand this thing, for faded crop key, just going for it. I'm going to use faded crop key as an example. So the rule set is essentially crop key for those people who aren't aware, where dots can indicate that it's consecutive, or the 2 cells contain consecutive digits, or one cell is double the other. But none of the colors are given. So instead of white being consecutive and black being double, you just have white cells. So for me, when I solved faded crop key the first time, the most interesting thing at the start is just 4 is an incredible digit because it's consecutive to 3 and 5, but it's also double 2 and 8. And I couldn't necessarily get any further with that, rather beyond, that's a very unique digit for that puzzle. With I came back to it like a year later and just went, you can just put digits connected to dots and it will make your life a lot easier. Quite often, I guess that's the other thing I really need to tell people. You need to put more given digits in your puzzles. Stop trying to be all variant. You will almost always get a nicer, smoother solve with like 2 given digits rather than like some sort of complicated arrow setup.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's solve a bunch of the puzzles and pick like 1, maybe 2 ideas that you want to communicate, and then start practicing, start making something with a bit of that focus, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, the digit phobia is a real problem, I think. I've definitely seen people who would rather throw away a puzzle than put a given in, which is a terrible shame.
I don't know what happened to people. Sorry, that's not the right way to say it. But going, I don't know what happened to people to make them so afraid of putting given digits into a Sudoku. When if we're saying the words normal Sudoku rules apply at the start of a
Yeah.
puzzle, people are gonna have to put digits into this grid.
Yeah, we were talking about it just the other day with, I think it was Pietado, we were talking about it, that like there's no other type of puzzle where you would be afraid to put the type of clue that the puzzle is about in the puzzle. Like there's no other genre.
It's so silly.
Yeah, it's very silly.
I put more givens in. Make yeah. And also, yes. No. That's it. I have no more points about that. Just put more givens in.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, what makes a puzzle genuinely approachable rather than just an easy puzzle or like a 1-star difficulty puzzle?
I think the actually we've kind of had like one of the perils of being known on the internet is that sometimes people will talk to you in a way that probably doesn't have the respect that you would have in real life. And I'll be real, most of the people I've interacted with in the Sudoku community are amazing. One of the like things that people tend to misconstrue with gas is the idea of it being easy. Now, when we have never really set out to make easy puzzles, but we set out to make things that are approachable. Now, approachable is different to being easy. I'll be real, most of our lives we tend to be ending up dealing with yes, cat. Most of our lives we tend to be facing challenges and having moments where we're trying to, deal with things, and they're not always easy and they're not always hard, but you're also trying to but most of the goals in your life you do want to actually start being able to take those steps. So it's if you are asking me to go, where is the line for gas and for genuinely approachable Sudoku? Cats, yes.
He tried to
Sorry,
jump.
I absolutely love it.
He tried to
That's
jump
fine.
onto the laundry, like where you hang clothes to dry. He's like, this will be a perfect place to jump up and just like stand on. I was like, oh my word, you're gonna die. Sorry, go ahead.
Was that? No. I assume you're familiar with the idea that all ginger cats share one brain cell, and
that wasn't the ginger cat. That was the other one. He's going for it again.
Oh no. Well, so to me, what I think approachable should mean, and the thing that I try to aim for, is fundamentally I want either the variant part of the puzzle to be challenging, or I want the Sudoku part of the puzzle to be challenging, but not both.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Hey, it's fine. Cats, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, basically I'm just looking for it to either be a challenge. Look, I want it to be. I don't want it to be challenging in the Sudoku or challenging in the variant, but I want it to be at least interesting and a little bit of bite. But I'm trying to aim for one of those to be like a little bit bitey.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a better word in my brain there, except for bitey, but. Uh, I'd like one of them to be interesting and a little bit challenging. So it's either the Sudoku or the variant. Um, uh, a little bit of behind the scenes thing. Whenever in gas we're testing it, and we're like, it's probably a touch over in the direction. We tend to say the words, "It's fine with generous hat times."
Right.
Which is kind of the assumed code word for it's a little bit touchier. And it's still fine. Gas is a very broad term, and it's why like, when people are like, is this gas? Probably. I don't know. Who's your audience? Who are you aiming for?
Right.
But for me personally, I'm aiming for either just a little bit of bite in the Sudoku or a little bit of bite in the variant, but not both.
Right. That's a good way to describe it. How long does it usually take you to set a gas puzzle?
Uh okay. I think the shortest I've ever set something for gas was uh I did a I did a quadruples puzzle about a month ago, and the only reason I put something together was I believe Clover was sick and just hadn't picked up her phone and
Mm-hmm.
hadn't posted anything. So I was like, I don't actually have anything in my backlog, so I posted something to cover for her. I made that in 11 minutes.
That's pretty impressive.
The reverse of that is the first expanded space Sudoku I did, which is an absolute banger. I think I sent that one to you. Maybe.
Here, I'll find it if you keep talking.
No, wait, wasn't that one? Okay, no, I didn't send that one to you. So the first expanded space Sudoku I did, which is a 16 by 16, but it's people only have to place the digits 1 to 9 in it. I think took me 12 hours, 12 to 16 hours to make satisfying and to not keep breaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the few puzzles that I've made where you cannot, under any circumstances, use the computer solver for that one. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any tools to double check that one for me. That is not the puzzle that I have spent the longest setting. That one I have sent to you though. It's probably my favorite. I think for sheer beauty alone, it might be my favorite puzzle I have ever made. It is not gas. Yoke is the title of it, and I think that took me 24 hours to make and to absolutely narrow down. You can find a link to the walkthrough for this on our channel. I did do it. This was something I started creating for James Sinclair, who has been interviewed on the channel, I believe.
That's
For secret the CTC Discord Secret Santa. I could not get it to work. I spent about 24 hours over the space of 3 weeks trying to make this puzzle work. I got there eventually, and I am so very, very proud of this one. This to me it's gorgeous, it's stunning, it solves really well, and it really does respect the solver's time. I'd love to sit here and unpack it, but I can also just plug my YouTube channel here. There is a walkthrough for it.
Is that the gas channel?
Yes, it is on the gas YouTube channel. I absolutely adore Little Killers. I got a question for you. What's like the one variant that you swear by? What's the one that you absolutely love?
Probably
because for me it's Little Killer.
Sudoku. Killer, just regular killer.
That's fair. I love killers too. I swear by Little Killers because you can get so much beautiful logic in when you're able to repeat digits along diagonals in a way that you can't necessarily get. But also, people absolutely hate Little Killers, and I kind of understand them too.
It's the least popular thing, I think. It's weird because, like, I would say Killer Sudoku is like one of the most popular, but then this, just taking and tweaking it a little bit, is like one of the least popular variants. Like, it's so disliked.
It's why most of the time I think most of the Little Kill is done for Gas RB, because I love it, and I'll be real, it's why most of the German Whispers puzzles for Gas have been done by Philip, and I would like to like defend Little Killers and say that it's not disjoint groups.
That's fair. Yeah,
it's not disjoint groups, and it's not anti-night either.
Yeah, those are also up there and the most hated for sure.
Yeah. Those two I've done one disjoint group Sudoku for Gas in the space of 2 years, and I tried so hard to make good disjoint group Sudoku for Gas that I had so many of them, I put it out as a joke April Fool's pack on Patreon. It's so hard to do good disjoint groups. But yes, that Yoke is to me one of the absolute achievements, and I absolutely love this one. And would eagerly recommend if you want a good challenging puzzle, please go and solve that one. But yes, extra space Sudoku is probably like the hardest one for me to set for Gas. I've taken the new one that's coming next month took me a whole work sick day. I was sick anyway. I took work off to set Gas, but yes.
Setting while you're sick is not the best idea anyway.
I had chicken pox earlier this year, and I had no back catalog for Gas, so I just had to make puzzles.
So speaking of your Patreon, do you want to plug it? Say what?
Okay, I will plug Patreon. But I also want to let people know I'm on a break from Patreon at the minute. And up there is a photo of me being on Mastermind as well. That's the header. But on Patreon, I use would stick puzzles that I need to, put these thoughts somewhere because they're not going anywhere for Gas, and I wanted to make harder, but still clean and neat puzzles. So that's where they ended up. This is an incredible thing to kind of say. I'm incredibly fortunate right now in the sense of when I started doing Patreon, I was kind of struggling financially, and the extra couple $100 a month really helped out. I am no longer struggling financially, which is great. It's kind of thing. So I'm gonna figure out what I'm doing with Patreon soon, but I haven't quite got there just yet. Um, because I no longer need to do it for the money, but I also don't want to leave it there. But yes, WWM Sudoku. Currently, because billing is paused, you could sign up for $5 whole, get access to every puzzle that I put on Patreon, which is just short of 200 puzzles, and then leave, which I think is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. What a
So,
model for
yes,
creators.
I mean, look, it's one of those ones where so gas has been free. It's been free, and we have no intentions of changing that. And people have wanted to support us the whole time, and that's great. We really, really appreciate that. And I'm lucky in the fact that I don't need to be supported financially anymore, which is kind of really great. But also, it just means that I can continue to create and just keep putting puzzles out there.
Also, small sorry to both Pietato and Ambrose who had asked for the pronouns. They said yes to that, but I forgot about it. It's been a while.
Don't stress. I spotted it. Yeah. As somebody who works with a lot of LGBTQ youth, I'm very big on putting the pronouns up to make them feel safe and secure.
Absolutely. What was it like getting asked to do the gas setting? Were you nervous to sort of step into the shoes of, the likes of Sam, Kafferman Lines? Like, that's pretty scary. I would be scared.
Okay. Genuinely, when they asked me if I wanted to do some gas, I thought I was just stepping into cover. I didn't think they wanted me to permanently join the team. I genuinely just thought I was just gonna make like 10 puzzles. That part wasn't communicated extremely well. But I think so we're all good with Sam, but Sam kind of dropped out for a couple weeks, and Philip and Clover were quite stressed about it. So they were like, the way they tell it is, we were like, all right, who do we want to tap on the shoulder for gas? And, who do we want to work with? Who makes decent puzzles in that direction? And apparently I was the name on both of their lists. I was their number one ask, and they're like, all right, cool, let's ask Bill. And I was like, yeah, sure, no stress. And I made a bunch of puzzles. I think the first two I made were too hard. And then the third one I got just right. Very Goldilocks. And then I just kept making a bunch more. And that was it. And I realized that I've been doing gas for a little over 1,000 days now, which is a crazy number. Yeah, it's the 3 years on Halloween. That was the first time I posted gas. And yeah, it's been a hell of a journey for us, and I'm like, it's still really, really satisfying to know that deep down at the heart of it, this is just 3 people posting puzzles to entertain each other, and then we send them out. That's kind of, people ask us, how have you been keeping it going for so long? That's just the heart of it. At the end of this, we are just making puzzles to entertain each other. I don't think I would make football Sudoku, other than to prove that I can to my friends.
Right.
That's really it.
That is kind of
But yeah,
yeah. That matches the
well,
personalities of the people. So
pretty much.
what's it like being on the gas team when you're in a different time zone than the other two?
I think it's the only things that really like change are functionally um uh if I need testing and I've left it really really late, um they should not be awake.
Right.
And the fact that like when they're like, hey, can you get this tested before the end of the day? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's nice also to have it split up, to take to be able to split those responsibilities. I hear probably more stories about the American healthcare system than I need to. Uh, it's not great over there.
No, it's not.
Uh, but other than that, it's honestly just nice having a couple friends that I could just chat with, and yeah, I. It's weird the time zone difference doesn't really change anything for us, except I'm gonna throw another plug in. SudokuCon have a gas stream coming up, and we are trying to figure out if there is a good place to put the time zone in that I will be able to join. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I might just pre-record some opinions that they can splice me in or something. But other than that, no. There's not really any difference in working with Americans, other than they forget to put the U in some words sometimes.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well. I'm Canadian, by the way. I'm not American. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's right. Canadians are fine.
Yeah. I remember the U, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah. We're colonized as well, so. Ambrose had asked, do you prefer time of day to work on setting?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm 33 years old and I work full time. It's mostly just about 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. if I've got that if I've got that headspace to do it. And if I don't, that's fine. The benefits of having practiced making gas is that I know that when I'm like on the ball, I can make multiple gas puzzles in one go. But about 7:30 to 10:30, or just on the weekends, and just like put your feet up, cup of tea, and just kind of, be like, this. Is it weird that this is my version of like knitting or reading a book now?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a lot of people's version of that stuff. But I do want to touch on the fact that like we've touched on this a couple of questions here. Like, I mean, it's so important to take breaks from these creative endeavors, but like with the gas, you really you can't take a break. I mean, Sam kind of had to take a break and dipped out, but then like you're leaving people high and dry, it's like you have some pressure. What do you think about that whole thing?
It's very. The beautiful thing is we have like a master spreadsheet where we can just keep track. is it difficult to consistently be creative and to make puzzles and to um and to continue to churn out like one new puzzle every 3 days? The answer is yes. Um, is it uh is it fine to allow yourself like time and space to go, well, I haven't necessarily been able to like make anything for like the past week? The answer is absolutely. Um, I tend to not be like a quotes guy, but there's this quote from Roger Ebert, like the famous film critic, and he tends to say the muse of inspiration strikes me halfway through.
Mhm.
And if you kind of sit back and go, I need to always be in the headspace to make something. I need to be ready. I need to, be creative. If you wait for the right idea to come, it will almost certainly never arrive when you need it. If you start by going, hey, I need to like hey, I need to like make something. I'm probably gonna like screw around and make a bunch of trash that goes nowhere. I might find the one kernel of a good idea halfway through. If like most of the puzzle was trash, but I was like, oh, I really like how that interaction occurred. You can just scrap what you put in and just go, that's the interaction I'm gonna start with. There's my idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, being creative is difficult, and doing it regularly really hard sometimes. That's just how people ebb and flow, really. Um, but I think that fundamentally, really enjoy. I really enjoy the act of creation. Uh, it beats looking at spreadsheets and emails for my job.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's good that you said that you have this view of it that's almost like knitting or like doing something like that, because a lot of times people take their hobby and then they turn it into like sort of like a job, that it just feels like you're doing like the spreadsheet thing, but it's your hobby, and now you've ruined your hobby by making it more like a job.
It again, I don't know where I heard it, but someone did tell me if you monetize your hobby, you will never have another hobby again.
Mhm.
And I think that is part of why I needed to take a few months off of Patreon as well, because I'm like, it's really hard to make 20 plus puzzles a month and to
Yeah.
keep making new ideas or ones that excite you in a way where you're like, this is cool. I want to put this out. I'm not just doing this for the sake of doing it. Uh if yeah, I have said before, the second stops being fun for me, I'm gonna stop doing it. Um but as long as I continue to keep like the vision that at the end of this is just me posting puzzles to make Clover and Philip go, dang, that's pretty clever. That's the sort of thing that I'm really, really excited to keep doing, you know?
Yeah. Uh, Isaac or Isamuk asked, what advice do you have for new setters or solvers?
Uh Go out and do it. Um Go out and do it. So basically my base so I'll start with the solvers first.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, no, I'm gonna start with the setters first. And the setter, my advice for new setters is go solve. Um, Go solve puzzles and find out what you like, what's interesting to you, and then make something that you feel is relevant. And my advice for solvers is key parts when you are looking and thinking about what you are making, what you're solving, is find where the most information is in the puzzle. That's that's where you're going to want to look next. And the other thing is there are some tricks which are going to make your life a lot easier if you learn them. I would recommend knowing what like a pair is, what a triple is, what a quadruple is. If you want to learn like X-Wing, sure. X-Wing, I'd say, is a good one right off the bat. Once you start getting into like Y-Wings and Swordfishes, leave that till later. But like X-Wing is probably like where the absolute maximum of like Sudoku strategy that you want to learn. If you enjoy doing variants, figure out the parts of it that you're actually really do a bunch of the variants and figure out, hey, what are some of the tricks that are involved in them? We had a really big discussion in Gas where we tried to determine, is it okay to do a trick in Killer Sudoku? Is this a thing that we're comfortable doing in Gas now? And we did it, and we did a YouTube short of it just to back it up. And I even made a harder, less gas puzzle for people. But I wouldn't have called that puzzle gas, but I wanted to show people, if you know this trick, this puzzle is fine. For those of you playing along at home and would like to know what we're talking about and what we believe we are okay with going, this is gas now, is if you have a 2-cell 5 cage and a 2-cell 6 cage, what are the contents of those cages? Now, there's two different ways to look at that, and we walk through both in the short. The idea is that if the 5 cage is 1 and 4, you cannot fill the 6 cage because there's only 2 ways to make a 6 cage, and it's 2 and 4 or 1 and 5. Like the other way to look at it is a 2-cell 4 cage and a 2-cell 5 cage would add up to a 4-cell 11 cage, and there's only one way to fill a 4-cell 11 cage. We did a YouTube short of it. We did a harder puzzle to practice that skill, and we also put a puzzle out for gas that starts off just using that trick once and once only. But that's an example of one of those sorts of tricks where I'm like, if you are looking to get better at setting and solving, go out and learn some of the tricks, learn some of the interactions, and go, how do I show off that idea? How do I make that interesting for people? And the other advice to solvers, other than setters, other than what we've said already, which is you've got to put more givens into your puzzles. That's crazy. What are you doing? The other bit of advice that I've got for setters is you want to help your solver. You actually want to make their puzzle experience good. You would like them to have fun doing your puzzle. Otherwise, what's the point? So you've got to signpost it. You've got to signpost what it is that you're trying to like show off in a puzzle. And I'm gonna throw it out there. I jokingly mentioned this to you before we started. I have a German Whispers. Oh, I didn't mean to say the variant. Oops. We'll pretend that I didn't say that. I have a puzzle coming on the 7th, where there is one very specific thing that I am trying to show people. I cannot possibly tell you I have made this as blatant as possible. I have tried to signpost very much the one thing I want people to take away from this puzzle. They're going to miss it, and it's fine. Or they're going to miss the implications of what I'm trying to show them. That I can live with. But as a setter, try and set your solver up the best way to have a pleasant experience, a good experience. Good doesn't necessarily mean easy. It can mean a challenging, complex, richly rewarding experience for you. But I would look to make sure that, make something that people actually want.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really, really hard.
Definitely. I was gonna ask this before, but it feels too similar to the other questions, and I think it's kind of similar to this given phobia discussion that we had, where like I mean I've interviewed people who say they can't set an easy puzzle, like it's not possible for them to set an easy puzzle, like the ideas that they have are too big to set something that's easy. I mean, like, just give something away, you know, like you're saying, right?
I would offer a different perspective on it, which is like, if you want to okay, hang on. I'm gonna back up and go in a completely different direction here and go, the way that neuroscience works fundamentally is they tell us that we have two different brains. And they go, you hear a lot about like the idea that one of your brains is creative and one of them's analytical. It's less than that. One of the ways that we tend to think about learning and neuroscience is there are two sorts of different brains. There is the one that has all the rote things that we're capable of doing, like normally, like, you know, like paying bills, driving a car, that sort of thing. And then there's the ones that are our creative problem-solving brains, the ones where if we're presented with new ideas, how do we necessarily engage with, you know, how do we figure out our way through it and our path through it? And the difficult thing doesn't necessarily need to be how do you make this puzzle easy. The question is, how do you pay off the ideas that you're trying to do? I think the fact that as people we are constantly trying to seeking out new experiences and new ideas and new problems is beautiful. The way that it tends to work is when you have, I get which side of the brain it is around the wrong way, but when you are confronted with a puzzle a number of times in a way that it actually becomes rote, one of your brains, the information and moves from one side of your brain to the other, where it gets stored for long-term usage. I am absolutely butchering the explanation for this, but one of the other things to kind of like realize is when the human brain is stressed, the creative side of your brain actually shuts down. And it leaves you unable to do that problem solving, and you can only necessarily do the things that you have rote and practice. It's why it's why, like, when a student walks into a test and they're not prepared, they're panicking, there's only going to be like a few things that they're able to do because they're not able to problem solve, because the cortisol has flooded their brain and shut that part of it down. As a setter, if you want to make a hard puzzle, how are you rewarding how are you rewarding your solver for figuring it out? Does your puzzle just instantly collapse after you're done? Is it, like, I believe the community call them one-steppers, where it's like you just have to figure out what the secret is, what the thing is. There's a puzzle I made, and it was based off a idea that Clover showed me. It's called Whirling in Rags 8 p.m. Which I did send you the link for that one. This one's available on my Patreon. The URL is available on my Patreon. And it's got a really hard idea to kind of wrap your head around at the start. This looks like just a very standard arrow Sudoku, but there's a really, really interesting question to ask here, which is just what digits go in row 4, column 2, and row 4, column 6. And what are the effects of that on row 5, column 5? Sorry, not row 5, column 5. Row 2, column 5. Because when you place a digit on an arrow in row 4, column 2, it's not actually seeable in box 1. It can't go along the arrow and it can't go in the column, so it must also go in row 3, columns 1, 2. Column 3, rows 1, 2, 3. So that becomes a really that's a really hard idea to unpack. The puzzle really starts turning into a standard arrow Sudoku after that, and it pays off a lot of the things that people already know, and a lot of the tricks that you've already learned about arrow Sudoku. But it's a way of like, hey, you solved this really tough thing. Now we're just going to move into standard arrow Sudoku. It's standard, very good, very satisfying arrow Sudoku. I'm really, really proud of that one as well.
Do you find more enjoyment in the solving process or the setting process, do you think?
I would love to be like, it's both. It depends. It does depend. The solving process is quite often delightful because you get to experience new ideas and new puzzles and new perspectives on things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. I test solved the thingy, the Sudoku Grand Prix rounds for 2 years. And I got to see a bunch of different constraints and a bunch of different perspectives. And also I got to see things I didn't like as well. I think honestly going, hey, I see what someone was doing there. I don't particularly like it, but here's how I would do it. Is just as important as finding stuff that you see other people doing and stealing that. But sometimes, it's very difficult. Sometimes solving, it's very hard. And you're going to just bang your head against the wall a lot. But also, it's very hard to be like, I love setting, I love showing people, ideas and cool puzzles and nice tricks that have popped into my brain. But also, I'm like, I don't know how many times I can make the same puzzle and have it break over and over and over again before I need to put my laptop down and take a walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I give setting just like a little bump up, but realistically, both are great. I love doing both of them.
So something that we've been asking for a very long time is, would you set puzzles even if no one would solve them? Like if you're the last person on Earth?
Maybe not the last person on Earth. But I do think the act of construction and being like, hey, I made this for you is really genuinely lovely. I have access to 3D printers at work, and my girlfriend works in occupational therapy, and she works with mental health patients, and she loves fidgets. And I made her, I 3D printed her a axolotl, so that way she could play with while she was working. And it's not just puzzles that I make. I can I've now learned how to use like the Adobe Creative Cloud. Uh, so like I make other things. I can make art. I can make Photoshop. Um, but yeah, the act of creation is just really inspiring and very lovely, I think.
Absolutely. Playmaker had asked a question: what are some of the most remarkable moments before and after joining the CTC community? Of your most remarkable moments?
I uh I think one of the most remarkable things before joining the CTC community is figuring it doesn't even have anything to do with puzzles, but just
Yeah.
learning about myself that I actually really love teaching was something that happened before, and now I do feel like that is a thing that I am doing, and it's really, really kind of inspiring, which is wonderful. Um, and since joining the CTC community, um, I would say I'm very it. I have to remind myself that technically I'm an adult on the Discord, and I think something that absolutely stood out to me was that the friends that I've made along the way by just being like a kind and honest and very genuine human being. Um, there's a bunch of shout outs like Prasanna Seshadri, wonderful guy. We talk about board games. Hunter Cutter, Dream Librarian, uh, Backpow and Bataku, wonderful people. Mark, Yoshi, Naverio, all great individuals. But the part that I absolutely adored was when Cracking the Cryptic decided to stream Hogwarts Legacy, and I I saw how many trans and non-binary kids just like were just very disappointed, and I just went, I can't fix that. So my gas intro for the day was I donated $100 to the Trevor Foundation. That was it, because I'm like, look, um, look, y'all are legit wonderful people, and I see you, and you know, there's nothing wrong with you. If I'm your dad now, that's okay. I'm your dad now, and just not only the support that you get from a community with puzzles, but the support when you do the right thing, and then anyone who tries to be weird about it, you tell them to get lost. That wasn't the words that appeared in my head, but you can guess.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep this YouTube friendly. I think the fact that I can continue to, you know, make free puzzles for people to enjoy, but also the fact that I can continue to use a voice for something that's meaningful is something that really, really matters to me. You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's it. They're the remarkable realizations I think I've had.
Awesome. Do you want to talk about the Octagon Infinity Pact and what that was?
Oh, I've completely forgotten about that one, but you've
Blast
just reminded me. I've made so many puzzles. That's crazy. Okay. So, I oh, okay. Wow. Oh, this is a banger. Thank you for reminding me of this. Okay. Um, oh, and I've just noticed so I'm currently wearing a shirt from one of the bands I love, Mets, and I've just noticed there is a puzzle called Atlas Vending. Now, uh, oh, there was a okay. So, what I did was I was like, I need, okay, um, I guess we'll wheel back up to the top because the top, not the front, but the next part. So in 2021, I was at the beach with my partner in time, after the lockdowns had ended,
Mhm.
and my partner, um, we were walking the beach at night, and I was holding the dog early evening, and I was holding the dogs, um, and and someone comes up to us, and it's like, "Hey, my can you see my husband and daughter in the water?" And my partner's gone in to check on them, and they managed to make it out, but she unfortunately did not at the time. Um, and uh, quite often I found myself really kind of struggling with grief
Mhm.
during the whole process of kind of you know, because it's very weird to talk about, puzzles and being online, because like, I mean, the thoughts about it have popped into my head during this, where I was like, hey, I don't necessarily want to, like, you know, talk about it as much as I did, because
Yeah.
when I was very early in the stages of grieving, you just feel a lot of things and you
Mhm.
don't necessarily know where to put them all. Um, and one day I just got this was over the course of 2 days. I made a bunch of rotationally symmetrical puzzles, almost kind of as a joke, being like, "Oh, the puzzles are rotational, but the digits aren't," which I do think very much laid the pathway for what I do these days, where I make very clean, very rotationally symmetrical puzzles. They do not always have GSP, but uh, uh, you could collect all of the center digits and you could place them into the final grid of the puzzle at the end, and then solve that puzzle. But you'd actually have to figure out which rotation they go and where they start.
Oh, that's fun.
And I placed a donation tracker for my late partner, because she was diagnosed with an inactive multiple sclerosis.
Mhm.
Um, and we through my like constant being really really annoying, we managed to raise nearly $10,000,
Wow,
which is
that's incredible.
yeah. I yeah, I just kept posting. I kept posting her story, and you know, um, and was like, "Hey, I posted the link as well." And yeah, $9,665 to support multiple sclerosis. Um, and I don't know if I got anything from that. I definitely got some from CTC. You will find Mark Goodliff's name on there as well, which is very nice and very sweet. But that particular puzzle pack, uh, I made, I just went one day, wow, things suck, man. I need them. I need a distraction. I need literally any distraction at all. Um, and I made a bunch of puzzles, and I'm genuinely remembering how some of these solve, and these are crazy. These are really good. Um, Yeah, this. Although my choice to finish the pack with an anti-knight Sudoku, I don't like, but this is 4 years ago, so we can live with that. But yes, people found it really. People who solved them really really liked it. And yeah, that was I think that was my first ever puzzle pack, the one that I made while kind of finding something better to do with grief rather than just be sad.
Yeah, that's a great lesson.
Yeah.
Where have you gone with your packs since then?
They all unfortunately most of them are now paywalled.
Yeah.
I look.
Another plug for the Patreon.
There is another plug for the Patreon. There are 2 free packs on there. And both of them have been mentioned. You will be able to find the Whirling in Rags 8 p.m. in the one. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will find a pack that I put out for free quite a while back. And there is a April Fool's disjoint sets pack called Fine Art, where every puzzle in there is a pretty good disjoint sets puzzle. It's just way too hard for gas.
Beautiful. So hi, Clover.
Yeah. Hi, Clover.
Oh, here's a good one. What makes Sudoku special compared to other puzzles?
That is a good question. I think fundamentally the thing that makes Sudoku special is how simple the rules are. I think there is so much beauty and so much cleanness in place that is once and nine, once each in each box, row, and column that it allows for not only incredible logical deductions, but it also allows for really, really good variants and for people who are solving it to go through it and change it and to make it different and interesting,
Yeah.
Also, Clover, hi. And also there are some I got Discord notifications from Clover. You're insane for doing that right now. That's it. She'll know what I mean.
Have you done any collaborative setting ever, like setting alongside another person?
Oh, I sorry, I've just seen Clover's comment. Okay. I have I done like explicitly collaborative solving setting? Once we did. I jumped into a I jumped into one of like we're all just adding one puzzle in the we're all just adding one variant or one clue to this puzzle. I jumped into that and you'll be shocked to know the first clue that I added gave 5 digits into the puzzle and got it going. But more often what I would call collaborative is in gas we tend to go go, hey, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna steal that, or I'm gonna, or hey, this is too hard for gas, but this idea was really, really good. Maybe you should do that. I think explicitly collaborative in the sense of, did we make this puzzle together? No, but providing a lot of feedback and talking with people and going, hey, that's a really good idea. Philip did a Regent Sunline Sudoku a little while ago where it was too hard and it didn't make the cut. But he did something really interesting with it that I hadn't seen before, which was Regent Sunlines as palindromes.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically, if it's one cell, it's gonna if every time it passes through a box and it's one cell, it's just gonna be a palindrome, which is really funky and really powerful. And I was like, I haven't seen that before. That's great. Do more of that. And then he did, and it came back. And to me, that's what collaborative is. It's not necessarily we're doing it together, but sometimes it's all I just sound like my manager when I say this. Sometimes it's about empowering other people to go out and do things, you know?
That does sound like a manager thing to say. I thought you meant.
I've had to practice my
Yeah.
I've had to practice my neutral manager voice recently, and it's hard to do well. I'm learning from the best though.
That's good. Let's do some rapid fire questions. We're almost out of time actually, so we should go through these rapid fire questions before we run out of time. So one answer or the other, as fast as you can. I'll just read them off.
All right.
High lowity or odd evenity?
Odd even.
Local or global?
Oh, actually, no. High. Wait. High, low.
Okay. Local or global deductions?
Local.
Coloring or good lifting?
Coloring.
Simple or complex?
Wait, good lifting. I changed my mind. Simple.
Favorite digit to dance to?
5.
Geometric or arithmetic?
Geometric.
Penta, F puzzles, Sudoku maker, or something else?
Controversial take, Pempa.
Sudoku or pencil puzzles?
Sudoku is a pencil puzzle.
I know. It's a trick question. Chaos or order?
You can't be a chemist and not say chaos.
Big or little?
Big.
Digital or analog?
Digital.
Cages or lines?
Pages.
Arrows or dots?
Dots. Wait, no, arrows. We love arrows in this house.
Indexers or chess constraints?
Death.
To disambiguate. Yeah.
Sorry, no, do that one again.
The indexers or chess constraints?
Anti-king, but put the rest of them in the trash.
Okay. To disambiguate a given or an extra rule?
Digits.
Yes. Outside or inside clues?
Outside clues every time.
Cheese or bread?
Bread.
What kind of bread?
Chewy sourdough with a crisp exterior.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Sourdough focaccia. I will throw a plug in. Miller's Bakery down in Germana. Go do that. That focaccia is incredible. All right, next one.
Good or evil?
Well, they're both just abstract concepts anyway. Good.
Lawful or chaotic?
Chaotic.
Nice. We're getting alignment charts on everyone, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of them. That's all the rapid fire questions. What's a question or a topic that we haven't covered that you want to be asked or want to cover?
Honestly, I just want to say thank you to all of the people that have continued to solve our puzzles. That's it. You're all sweeties and we adore you.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that not only you guys have continued to set the gas puzzles every day, but there's a continual stream of solvers every day, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I that still continues to blow my mind, right? Like, and I don't think there will be a day where I ever take that for granted.
Absolutely. Oh, here's a good one. I haven't asked this in a while. What environment do you prefer to set in? Like, are you okay setting in somewhere that's noisy? Do you like music? Do you need complete silence?
Look, I will um like I've already talked about it during this interview. So, after losing my partner in a traumatic experience, I developed post-traumatic stress disorder, and one of the things that is really, really tough to kind of like sit with,
Mhm.
is not. It's not necessarily like um, that you have a bad experience and it's flashbacks, but it's kind of a Um, your frontal lobe is consistently looking out for you and trying to maintain your how your world is.
Mhm.
Um, so I kind of um, it puts you on high alert. The way I try to explain it to people is it's like if you've ever watched one of the Bourne movies,
Mhm.
um, imagine feeling like Jason Bourne getting hunted while you're trying to buy groceries. Um,
Yeah, that's
so
intense.
It's 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 intense and it's not great. But I've gotten treatment for it and I'm doing infinitely better. But to me, having a lot of like little distractions, um, I basically have like little greyhound ears that perk up anytime I get those noise. So it can kind of be really difficult to be thinking and focusing and trying to make something good.
Mhm.
However, I have used it as like a grounding technique in noisy environments. So like it's a little bit of both, but quite often it is a comfortable couch and some nice quiet music and just get into the zone, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to ask. How do you choose the names of your puzzles?
Oh, okay. I have a Spotify playlist where I 95% of my puzzles that aren't named after just the variant is just named after a song. There is a Spotify playlist called, I think you can search it in Spotify, called Songs Used for Gas Titles. Um, it's it's now 14 hours long. That's how many of these I've done, and it is truly just whatever I'm listening to, or any combination of words where I'm like, "Ooh, that's a very satisfying way of describing it." Um, you'll see you'll see a puzzle from me on the 10th called King Breaker because I'm listening to the arm today, and yeah, that's how I pick the names.
Very nice.
Because what I'll be real, when you make 500 puzzles, how do you come up with good names every single time? The answer is you don't.
Mhm.
Clover had it right the whole time, where you pick the date and you just say that's the title. I've been going for too long to like walk it back and do what Clover's doing. So now I have to just actually keep going with this because it's too late for me to make up a new system.
uh, Absolutely. We have 1 minute left. I often ask people where their pseudonym comes from, and your pseudonym is your actual name, right? What made you like want to just do your regular name instead of going for something like Memrist or
Oh,
something silly?
no, I can tell you exactly what that was. That was me not understanding how Discord works.
Gotcha. You're stuck now.
I just yeah, I'm stuck now. I can't walk that back. I don't even know what I would pick as a probably honestly, it's still very funny to me that there's a Magic the Gathering card which called Witness Protection that turns a creature into a legitimate business person. That's what they changed the name to. I would absolutely go for legitimate business person if I had to pick one in 2025.
I feel like there was someone in the Sudoku community called Legitimate Business Person.
That was me. I had it for a while as
Okay,
my like
yeah. I was like, this sounds very familiar for some reason. No, Clover, I'm not making a chart, but I think someone was making a chart at one point. Was it? It might have been Isaac or Isaiah. Sorry, not Isaac. It might have been Isaiah. Someone was making a chart of the alignments of the setters. Anyways, thank you so much, Bill, for being on here, and thank you everyone for watching. Do you have anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
Have fun and be kind to each other.
That's a very, very wholesome message. Thank you, Bill. Anyways, take care.
No worries. Thank you for having me.